We're very, very pleased to have you here. I think, Linda, we just saw this video on TNI. And just a little bit of background. I don't know if this Hank has talked yet, but I think he's going to come after me. Oh, come on up, Hank Lewinsky. I think it's appropriate that we have Councilwoman Harrison here, who actually, as we were evolving TNI, was the chair of the county council. And what we did with TNI when we came in, I'd like to tell this story. So how it evolved and expanded was, I was at a town hall meeting in Suitland, one of our challenging neighborhoods. And the residents, we were new in the administration, I think it was maybe our second year in the administration. And one of the residents was complaining about safety, that he didn't feel, safe. It didn't feel that, his wife came home late at night. He worked at night, and he was complaining about her not being able to come home because it was unsafe. And I immediately assumed that was a police issue. And I said to him, well, we need to get more police officers, around your house. And he said, it's not the police, they come. He said, the light is out over our house. There's an apartment that's right next to us with a fence, and people gather around there, and it's unsafe. He said, the police respond, the fire department responds, all the public safety responded in the time that people, when they called them. What he was complaining about really was public works. Our, what now is DPOC, our code enforcement to cut down stuff. So I got on the phone with Brad Seaman, who was the CEO at the time, and I used very clean language, and I said, Brad, why can't the rest of my government respond the way that the police department does? And so he said to me, well, what do you mean? I said, well, what I mean is, I want them to get out there and respond to what's going on. And he said, let me see if I understand you. So you want us to respond quickly to problems the way the police do. I said, oh yes, yes. That led to a conversation with Hank, who was the deputy chief at that time, a whiteboard, and things I didn't understand about numbers and data and how the police track and how they use that. From there, it morphed to how do we look at the challenges we have throughout Prince George's County. And so what they did was they put a bunch of formulas together, and they looked at 6 areas in the county that had our highest number of challenges. But the difference from the way that the police originally had been doing it and the way other places do it is the police normally look at public safety issues, so hot spots. Ours was not looking at hot spots, it was health disparity, lack of transportation, lack of job opportunities, dropout rates, all of those things that lead to the public safety aspect. That's how we determined the 6 areas. And then the notion was, since the police and fire respond right away, how do we get the government to respond to those areas in a significant way? And once we came up with the 6 areas and the determination, since we were dealing with a budget deficit, it meant that we couldn't do, Prince George's County is 500 square miles. You can't do it everywhere. And we have single-member county districts. So that meant there were some districts that weren't going to be in the TNI area. So the political problem was, 1, how do you direct resources there? And then 2, how do you get the legislative body to agree to something that people going in will know that they will not be part of? And so the first part was the easier part, and that is, we got all of the government together, literally all of the government. We shut down, brought everyone into a big room and said, here's what we're going to do. And we came up with a matrix. And then the matrix was, because I wanted to make sure, because I'm very nervous, I'm a nervous parent and I'm a nervous county executive, I want to know for myself what was going on. We had 6 areas, and just so happened we had 4 deputy county administrators and 2 assistant county administrators. And we deputized those folks as, you are now county executive of Oxon Hill Glass Manor. You are now county executive of all those 6 areas. But not just putting the police on their detail. They were in charge of fire, they had a fire, somebody from fire. Every part of the government had a representative on that individual, team. Everybody. There were people in the budget department that said, why the hell are we on TNI? We're budget people. The idea was that whatever, because we were going to go out and engage the community, the idea was that if a problem came up in that community meeting, the people who could solve their problem were right there. The other thing was to let them know, and remember, we're going to the places where people did not believe government worked. What we wanted to do was get them to understand government can work for them. And so we were giving them access to people they probably would have never met. And then having the 6 deputies there helped me because I would have to see them, or they would have to see me, every Monday morning for our executive meeting. So that's what we did on the political side, on our side. On the political side, it was a lot harder because there were colleagues who were not going to have these areas. So what it meant was every additional resources we had, we were pouring into those areas. So you would have folks who would say, well, how does this work for me? So 2 things is, nobody wanted to be identified as TNI, because that meant there was something wrong with their neighborhood. So that was the first thing you had to get over there. The second thing was to get the legislative body to do it. And the legislative body, quite honestly, they I don't know how she did it, but she marshaled it through. I ain't gonna pretend like I know. But it wasn't the pushback that I really thought we were gonna have. It was more of, can this work? But they did it. So that meant that, we were focusing on these areas and we had the resources to go after. And what it has done for us, and then how it works, the nuts and bolts, I'll let the man with the whiteboard come in. But that set the framework. And probably the last thing before I turn it over to Hank is, the biggest part of my job, quite honestly, through all this was to go to the community in the beginning. And we went to Glass Manor, one of those areas where they really did not think anything worked. They were used to government not working. So what they normally would do is wait till the community meeting and then beat us up. They wouldn't actually call the office and say solve anything. They just figured it wasn't going to happen. It hadn't happened in 20 years. Why would it happen now? So mine was to say, no, I'm not even going to ask you to believe me. We're going to show you. We're going to show you that this can work and it can change, and that was my job.